All right, guys, let's talk about the new cards and their new stats because we got both of them to go over because I have not covered our buddy Ancient Redwood yet, and we got our stats on Possibilists. Okay, so Ancient Redwood, this one is a very interesting card. So it's a very slow, hard-hitting card for 11 mana that has True Strike all the way through. So that's pretty good because even though he's slow, he's not going to miss. Starting off here, low level, like a bronze type card. I think this one is definitely playable as bronze is starting to get the bigger mana matches now, and you would have a nice. I think he can be a secondary tank if you're using the new summoner Fernheart, and he can be, if not a last position, I'm going to take up some of that damage from those sneak monsters, and if you have some triages, they're going to heal me a lot because my base HP is pretty big. He pulls into a reflection shield, which actually makes him much more usable with Fernheart in that second position, because then he's going to be absorbing any blast damage, and when he moves to the front, he'll still be able to attack. In the last position, that doesn't help quite as much because he's got so much HP, you kind of would like him to be the one getting hit, not the one getting blast damage, but still, sometimes... And everybody has blast scattershot mode against Yasik. You know, monsters with reflection shield and blast, everyone has blast games, is just strong to have on your team. Once it hits the tier 6 here and it picks up Fury, well, that's something that's really, really impressive because taunt has become such a big part of the game. It's interesting that it's such a big, powerful end of turn or beginning of turn attack. When you're talking about doing 12 damage to a taunting monster, that's pretty special. Now it gets more special at max level. I don't think you'll see a lot of people playing this at level 6 unless they are pure gold players, because you want the piercing so that when that fury happens, if they have a couple armor, your 12 damage isn't going to get eaten up by 2 armor. Right? Or 1 armor. That would be absolutely ridiculous. So you are going to want this max level. I'm definitely going to need a max level copy of this to add to the deck. It is going to, probably cost similar prices, $25 per card, and then trend down to around $18 per card. That's just kind of where I'm at. I mean, maybe the Rift Watcher card will held up. He'll probably held up a little better than the Death card because his low HP, I think, makes some people just not want to use him. He absolutely just gets opportunity destroyed. It's not even a good enough card for me to remember his name right now. But let's go ahead and look at the team and look how you're going to probably use this card. So when we look at green, we look at the summoners. I'm looking at the modern set. Early in the game, he's a good... Wizard of Eastwood is nice because he's a big, hard-hitting archer, so removing that armor so he doesn't run into it is good. Once you have piercing, his obvious best friend is probably Fernheart. It adds a little bit more to the Fernheart deck. He is not really a great play with Llama because he might be your last monster on the board, and without Fernheart's close range, he's not going to be able to attack from the first position. You could see him being maybe like in front of a Lamacron just as a meat shield with all that HP when it gets there in a higher mana match, but really it looks like it's going to be a Fernheart play. He can be used with Mylor, especially if you get a close range rule set, or you just want him in that last position to take those sneak monsters, and you might as well give him Thorns with a Mycelia next to him doing a triage heal to him, and he's going to do great with that. So the other kind of cards that you would use, right? So let's say you're using a Mylor or a what would you call it, or a Fernheart. So that's going to give you the ability to play some more of these archer cards, right? You're going to have your Vampiric Blossom, which is a pretty cheap archer card. If Beatrice Ironhide is pretty nice because she has the close range. Native, obviously you're looking at a guy who, he's going to hit late in turns a lot of the time. He does make the reverse speed team for green even better because now you got the Infiltree, the Queen Mycelia, the Jin Balka, the Goblin Psychic, and then you throw him on the board. It makes that reverse speed team just ridiculous. But, you can see playing him with Fernheart. Add in the Venari Heatsmith, add in the Vampiric Blossom, maybe throw in your Acid Shooter, and then put them all behind, either the Mycelic Infiltree or a are a Unicorn Mustang. So, these kind of cards. Other than that, you're always going to play your basic, healers, maybe Bramble Pixie as a secondary tank. But I really do think it's a card that's really meant to strengthen the Archer deck that you can build with the Fernheart Summoner. All right, now let's get into we'll switch this over to blue. And we'll look at the Legendary Summoner reveal. This one is interesting. So this is Possibilis the Wise, right? Possibilis? I think so. So +2 health, that's nice. +2 health is, I think, underrated. It can make a big difference when you're healing tanks, when you're playing with your triages, and there's a lot of triages on blue. And so now they're all just going to be able to maybe hit that next heal point and get 1 extra heal. And then when you look at his other stats, Trample for everyone and Reach for everyone. That is a very interesting combo. So this is really, really getting us down to a summoner for the melee side of the blue team. It's interesting, though, because they work so well with Kelia right now because she provides that extra speed and an additional armor that helps protect them from Thorns damage, taking them out too quickly. He, on the other hand, is giving them Trample and the ability for you to put any character you want in the second position who is a melee character. That is a very interesting thing. So when you look at this set of cards here, one of the things I'm first going to point out is obviously giving Deep Lurker and in Gladiator mode, our buddy Isgard Trample. That is kind of scary. Not so much for sneak monsters, right? They can't trample because they kill the last monster. So it's not such a good boon for the Pellicore, but it also makes the Feasting Seaweed here a very dangerous combo. So here's your combo non-Gladiator. Here's your opportunity combo with Gladiator. All 3 of them possibility. It also is an interesting card when you look at a card like this. This card doesn't get a lot of play right now because it's not necessarily better than a Serpent and Eld or a Demon Shark. But now this could be your second card on the board sitting there. Or you could put this card in front of a Demon Shark because now Demon Shark can have Reach. They both would be hitting really hard that first position character and both have Trample. Obviously, when you look at like a guy like this, adding Trample to him is just kind of an interesting thing. Adding Trample to Flying Squid is pretty interesting. Even I don't know how often you would play him with a Cruel Sethiopod, but giving him Reach so he can be your second position tank while he sits behind somebody else is very, very interesting. It also, the Tortoise Fighter, being able to give him Reach means you can have a shielded repairing character in the second position that can still attack and go forward. So that's pretty exciting, I think. One of the ones I'm actually super excited for this guy on is your Serpent of Eld. So he gets kind of replaced by Demon Shark because Demon Shark has this Trample and he's pretty fast. Now you can go with a faster character who shoots back arrows, has a poison, has a dodge, can sometimes be very hard to hit, but now he can actually have a Trample and he can have a Reach, so he can be your secondary position. So you can have literally like Demon Shark in front of Serpent of Eld. Or you could have, if you don't have a Serpent of Eld, maybe you're not as excited about that. This also is going to make the Coral Wraith Rust card kind of impressive. It'd be nice if the blue team could get a Rust that wasn't a sneak monster, though. Again, when you look at these HPs here, you got this high HP, 3 for 7. He would be 9 with a triage here. You got this card here now would be 11 HP with a triage. You've got some very high HP monsters like your Wave Brood that would be bumped up to 16. He's already at 14. You'd have Oceanus sitting there with an extra 13 life. You could start off Rune Master Kyle with 10. This guy right here would have 18, your Bajaka. So there's a lot of things that I can tell you that they, definitely the 2 HP can fix when it comes to certain monsters and their survivability, or how fast they become kind of ridiculous when it comes to the life leech monsters. Now, I'm not looking at him in a wild format because I only have modern on this current deck. But if I go to all cards really quick and we look at some of the older ones, so you can give Sea Monster a trample, so that would be something that would be pretty interesting. You can give something like the Frozen Soldier, who's not that usable normally, a reach and a trample, so he can drop into that second position. And Kraken is already super strong, right? With your retaliate, now you could have Kraken sitting there with trample. It almost makes me want to play Wild again just to see a trampling Kraken just rage through this game. So that's where I'm going to end it for now. You'll have to tell me what you think, where your combos you see. I definitely see the opportunity ones there. I think the Tortoise Fighter is a sneaky card to start playing in your second position as a secondary tank who can repair armor on any of those front tanks that have armor, whether it be the Demon Shark or the Serpent of Eld, or even Toreo in a reverse speed game. Now he's just going to have trample to go on with a lot more life and having void. So there is definitely some fun combos with this summoner. I don't know if he's going to be as game changing as let's say like Wraith. You automatically saw that Wraith was going to be kind of broken. You automatically saw the speed boost in Yasik just being ridiculous. But now it's like, does giving your whole team trample really change things? The one thing it does do, if you're playing an all melee lineup who can attack, so if I do go something like, let me just see here. If I do something like Serpent of Eld in the first position, with her in the second position, with the Deep Lurker and the Feasting Seaweed, and maybe I just go and I guess throw in the Coral Wraith to get rid of the armor, something like that though. But I have all of those people that are able to attack with melee, and if any of them kill anyone, they're going to trample. No matter what, you're going to get those tramples off when you take people out if you go a heavy melee monster lineup. This could be quite interesting, my friends. Okay, and again, going with the lazy look today. We'll get more professional in the future again. Bye.